Wow, cat lady. This was breaking news for me. I am living so far away from California now since the pandemic, and I did know that the founder passed away. I had a very adversarial relationship with our founders, so it wasn't something that I wish the soul well when I hear that it passes. But I wasn't bothered by that news. I felt a bit of relief, to be honest, which is why it's really odd to hear that the school closed because, number one, schools have been closing across the country. I'm going to tell you, for me, that personally, professionally, as I sit here taking this in, that this is in fact true. And I would pretty much put my, life on the fact that I'm sure they closed as a result of his death. It makes me want to leave the country. And I don't mean that lightly, because that is extremely sad to think that we're no longer producing those physicians out of that school. And I know that I believe another school in Oregon closed recently. These are the big schools, these are the ones where, we have a lot of immigrants from China, from Japan, from Korea, who helped to create these communities of wellness and healing and bring this medicine to this country. And we serve so many communities. And in California specifically, it's not just California, it's also Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, Texas, the East Coast, Washington, Oregon. But it's really devastating to hear this news. We don't have a lot of options left in this country. We need new healthcare leaders. We need people who are outside the paradigm, who can let go of the capitalistic need to hold on to that system and that cycle, to have voices and to speak up. And we have a lot of us. We're not that small, but we're small comparatively. I think in California, the last I looked, there were like 18,000 licensed practitioners. I don't know what those numbers are in Oregon, Washington, Florida, New Mexico. But more and more, we've been leaned on by, quietly. We've been incorporated into Medicare, Medicaid, one of those, into veteran services. A lot of people I went to school with were advocates, because we know how low cost and helpful these things are. And then once these organizations see it, they do too. The problem is that then it begins to threaten profit, but the public systems, those who serve our veterans and our senior citizens and low income, it's so helpful and useful. That's an understatement of the year, of the decade, of the century. This is very sad. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling me. I'm going to be reaching out to some old friends.